side. And I'm not convinced that we really are doing badly. I think this is definitely a sign that the fragrance side is progressing, not just changing. Just look at the activities at this year's meeting. What could be more encouraging than all of the student activities, the sessions on how to do better education, how to integrate research into all of our external outreach and education activities. Botany and biology are now everywhere. We are not confined to individual departments, and integrated studies are becoming far more critical, and the role of plants in this integrated understanding of life is strongly recognized. There's an increased public awareness of environmental issues, and in fact, 80% of the public is interested in scientific discoveries, even if they don't accept some portions of scientific fact. And we can point to the current national issues, all of which require botanical knowledge. Health, water, food, energy, and climate change are the top priorities listed in the most recent letter from the President regarding what the federal budget should look like. Furthermore, there have been several reports on improving introductory biology science education and reports on the critical changes in science for the next century. I want to mention 3 of these tonight because they all comment on educating the next generation of scientists, and they all indicate a strong role for biological societies in this effort. Now, BSA can point to several ongoing efforts where we are already offering opportunities similar to the ones noted in these reports, and to our success in attracting increasing numbers of student members. One example is our new Plants program, producing leaders and nurturing tomorrow's scientists, which have brought seven students here to these meetings to participate. And in fact, we intend to follow up with proposals to obtain money to continue that on into the future. Now, the first report that I want to discuss, so that you know it really exists, I have the actual copies here as well as copies of the cover on the slide, is this Vision and Change, a call to action. So far, the executive summary has been published. The full report will be out sometime this fall. This was a AAAS effort which was sponsored by NSF, and many of you probably do not know that leading up to this report was a whole, that says there was a large meeting in July. There was a whole series of conversations that were held across the country with small numbers of educators, researchers, administrators, and students that preceded this meeting, and where we all listened very carefully to all of the things that came out from those groups. I attended several of those, and I want to note some of the ideas, the issues, and the examples that we heard. First, I'm going to start with the faculty view, the A. Faculty are interested in active science and not just passive facts. They want assessment rigor. They want accessibility to resources. They want aligned concept mapping across levels of learning. They want analysis, and they want, most of all, advances for their students. The R. They want research early, an integral component of introductory courses. They want curriculum, tools, and methods as resources, and especially ones that have been tested and that work. They would like to have responsible students and responsive administrators. Relevance and inquiry-driven experiential learning. Rigor in assessments. Recognition and rewards for teaching introductory courses and for outreach. Reliability of data that actually relates to reality. The O. They would like to have organization support. They would like to have things organism-based. They would like overarching concepts throughout all courses made clear. They would like outcome-oriented assessment. online resources for curriculum and materials, opportunity for development with ongoing feedback, and they would like to overcome inertia to change. The M. See where I'm going? They want mapping concepts across the whole science curriculum, modeling assessments, material that does not impede reform efforts. For example, textbooks are fairly static. And finally, they want a mobilized community, ready to engage the passion and change the culture. At the large meeting, there was a call for online resources, one that would provide biological undergraduate education tools that would search like Google, recommend like Amazon, vet like Consumer Reports, and annotate like Wikipedia. Various groups have actually picked this up, and HHMI is leading an effort to try to create such a resource. Now, it's very interesting to compare what the students said to what the faculty said. There's a predictable list of things that they did not like about introductory courses. You have to allow the whining. Okay? They did not particularly like boring information with endless lists, bad PowerPoint presentations. I hope I'm not falling into that category. They did not like jargon and unknown terms to explain something like this leads to this, leads to this. They did not particularly want assignments that were already online. They didn't want professors who do not respond or are inaccessible, are clearly not into teaching. They didn't want unclear assignments, people who can't communicate clearly, that teach the same course as another colleague with a different number but with entirely different requirements. And they didn't particularly like fellow students who allow cutthroat competition to take away from learning. Interesting comment. And of course, exams were an ever-present complaint. And who can blame them? I have to admit that I don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling when I walk into my doctor's office and they say, I think we need another exam. There were complaints about the fact that we don't give exams back. We give exams back late. We give no explanation of what the right answer was. Or we reuse tests that don't relate to what was actually done in class. And we all know how many excuses students can come up with in order to be able to miss an exam. I have to confess that we publish our exam schedules at the beginning of every single semester. And as far as I can tell, this is a leading cause of death in grandparents. But I also have to say that there are lots of really creative students out there that come up with these absolutely wonderful excuses. Innovation is amongst our undergraduates, and we need to take advantage of this. Two of my all-time favorite excuses over my many years of teaching are, first of all, the student who came into me and said, I'm sorry, Dr. Skog, I cannot take the exam on the day it's being given. I have to catch a flight back to India. And I said, well, but the schedule was published at the beginning of the semester. Yes, she said. But my father made the reservation, and he doesn't understand the international dateline. And then there was a student who walked in my office and said, Dr. Skog, I'm really, really sorry, but I have to leave a week before you give your final exam. And I said, well, that's very interesting. What would why would you have to leave a week before the final exam is actually scheduled? Well, he said, I'm being sent into the witness protection program.